Welcome to today's video. Just before we start, I'm just going to show you a little technique I use to mow my lawn. Check it out. Yo mate, what up? Welcome to another lawn tip and hedge tip vid. Alrighty, today's video is just going to be a bunch of random stuff. So I'm finally putting in these hedges for this garden edge that we did ages ago. Finally got around to buying some plants. So I'm going to put them in today. Going to be mowing the lawn as well because it's getting a bit long. Didn't get a chance during the week, so I'll do that this afternoon. And then we're also going to do some fertiliser as well. Alright, so here are the plants here. These are Camellias sasanquas. They're at Jennifer Susan is the variety of them. Just like the flower on them. So we've got 13 of these. We've already measured out how far across we want to put them, so we're just going to do them one by one and measure them along a metre apart. So we're going to plant these a metre apart because I want these to grow nearly up to, I'd say about nearly 2 metres tall, so as high as the back fence. Alright, so we've got our hole marked out just here, so it's a metre off that edge there and halfway in between the edge and the fence. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this auger just to dig down to get it nice and loose, just so it's a bit easier than a shovel. If you don't have one, just use a shovel, it's not hard to do. And basically we're going to go twice the depth of that there, not twice the depth, sorry, twice the width of that there. I'm going to go probably a couple of inches underneath. Come on, boy. Look at that old, so holy. Just so you know too, I'm not actually a pro with plants and stuff. I'm just sort of guessing it as I go. I watched a YouTube clip before I started doing this, so I'm not a professional. So if I do something wrong, tell me. Next, I'm just gonna make this hole a little bit wider, so twice the width of the root mass there, basically. Or whatever you call it, the root pot thing. You want to dig, eh? Yeah. Go, you dig. Show me how it's done. Job, mate. Alright, so I've just got some general purpose potting mix. It was $2.50 with this bag, so cheap as chips. And I'm just going to put some down the bottom below that there. As I said, so we've got well-drained soil and around it as well. And I'll mix some of that dirt that's from here as well, because it's eventually going to hit that dirt anyway, so we'll mix some in there. I don't want to use too much of this stuff. Alright, so just quickly before I put this water on top of this to water it in, I'm just going to put some organic fertiliser in here. Dano for stuff. Flip it stinks. And you're supposed to wear gloves when you use it, so I'm just going to need some gloves. BRB. Alright, so I can only find one glove. Kid's boss to put it somewhere. I'm just going to put a handful of this in. Let's put it around the base and just mix it in. Maybe 2 handfuls, just because we got so much. Make sure it's nice and straight and just give it a little bit of water. Then we'll just put the wood chip over top. Alright, so now we're just going to measure the next one in. So I'm doing a metre apart again because I want to have them quite high. You can go a metre to a metre and a half. I'd recommend going at least a metre, otherwise it's probably going to start to choke the plants out when they get a bit older and they won't get enough air. So I'm going to measure that a metre from the base of this one here. Just there. And then make sure it's in the centre from the house to the garden edge. Well, from the fence to the garden edge. Yep, bang on. Tell you what, it's getting flipping hot out here. Getting sweaty. It's getting a little bit wet. Just a quick reminder, always slip, slop and slap, otherwise you get burny burned. Rub that in. It's 30 plus banana boat. So you keep the kids entertained while you're trying to do garden work? Yeah. Some water. Alright, the hedge is all done. Yeah. Here we go, it's looking pretty dandy.
Oh my goodness gracious.
That hedge though. I mean that water. Thank goodness all that's done. It's a pretty hot day, so it was a bit of a struggle. We're good. So I'm going to keep the water up to this for the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to give another water.
Today, Junior?
Going to give another water this afternoon, and then probably at least once or twice a day as well, just to get those roots to establish and to keep them healthy in this hot, dry weather. Alright, so it's just a little bit hot for it to actually mow the lawn at the moment. I don't ever recommend mowing your lawn during the middle of the day, or you will stress it out. So make sure you do it in the afternoon when it's cooled off a bit. So I'll probably mow it this afternoon about 5 o'clock, so there we go. But while we're waiting to do that, I'm just going to weed this little section down here that is pretty bad. Now all the fiddly stuff is done, hedges are done some weeding, all the dodgy stuff's out of the way. Now we're going to do some lawn mowing now, but we're not going to use the lawn roller because we don't want to actually stress the grass out. I normally generally don't use my striper this time of year just because it sort of stresses the grass out a little bit too much. You can if you want to, but I just decide not to because I like to just keep the lawn nice and healthy and stress free. Alright, we've finished mowing the lawn now, and now it's time to fertilise the lawn. So let's just get into that. So basically, I'm only going to put down half a dose of my normal fertiliser because we're in summer now, so I don't want to push too much growth on the lawn. But since I haven't fertilised for 6 to 7 weeks, I'm just going to put a little bit of fertiliser on this because this fertiliser that I used, I think it was 6 or 7 weeks ago. I'll put a link up above of that fertiliser that I used, the Nutri-Plus. So I'm going to put down half a dose just because I don't want to push too much growth in my yard, but I want to give it a nice green up and thicken it up. And this is slow release fertiliser as well, so I recommend you don't use quick release stuff if you're going to summer, only use slow release stuff. That's my top tip for today. Alright, fertilising done, so I'm just going to water that in now, but we're going to wrap this video up. But I really enjoyed putting those hedges in and having a full day of lawn care. I don't get to do that very often, so it was good. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, chuck a like there. Subscribe if you have not already. And I hope you have a good week. Hey!
What do you call Ben Sims having a drink? Lawn sips.
It's not going in the video. What are you doing?
What do you call Ben Sims with his shirt off? Lawn nips.
Stop it, please.
What do you call Ben chopping weeds? Lawn snips.
Stop it.
What do you call Ben Sims having a break?
What?
Lawn sits.
Yeah, I'm a